It feels like I've been running around since I woke up today. I had to do my cooking and meal prep for the week, and it just felt like a lot. The act of cooking was only a couple hours, but for me, that that is a lot. And so I'm happy that I get to sit down now and try out a thing with you. I have my coffee that I made this morning. That's probably not very hot anymore. Let's see. No, still good though. And I made myself a lentil loaf with melted cheese on top. So let's see how this is. Hmm, Not bad. There's a few things I would change. For instance, the main herbs in here are Italian herbs. I would change this a little bit because I love cumin. Do you love cumin? Oh, cumin is the best thing. And I would put cumin in this. And even if it had more of an Italian sense to it, I would have that smoky body that cumin brings to things. So that's my idea. I'm gonna see if I feel that way on the second bite. It's not bad though. Definitely more salt and pepper. Um, though I have to say that I'm probably on the higher end of salty tastes than the lower end. There are some people that are very sensitive to salt, and probably my level of salt is too salty for them by far. I find my blood pressure is always low and whatever. And so salting things a little bit more tends to be what I do to help maintain my levels and whatever. I've talked to my doctor about this too. He's not very concerned. But yeah, I would put more salt and pepper in this. I find that the lentils and the oats and whatever soak up a lot of sodium and don't really give off that they've soaked up a lot of sodium. So it's the same with hummus and curries with beans and whatever. I find that they kind of hide sodium or the taste of sodium at least. So let me know if you've found that too. Let me know what your favorite spice is. I would love to know that. I cannot, I don't even think that I've hit a dent in the different flavors and spices that there are to be found in the world. And so I fully acknowledge my ignorance in this area and I would love to explore. So is it Sunday fun day for you or is it a different day? I'm not quite sure when this goes up, but at the time I'm filming, it's a Sunday. A lot of people have this as a lounge day. I do not know if I'm going to be able to lounge much more than our time together. I was asked recently if I'm a vegetarian, and the answer is no, I'm not a vegetarian. But I tend to not like cooking meat so much. Now, that is very much day to day with me. Some days I have the extra spoons to clean things properly and to maintain good habits when cooking meats, especially chicken or whatever. You don't want to have raw chicken on your hands and then go grab something and whatever. And knowing my brain, there's going to be things I forget. So there's going to be lots of hand washing. And so I just find cooking vegetarian meals to have less steps because even if I forget, chances are I'm going to have to rinse my hands, but I'm not going to have to be meticulous about like, having hot water and having lots of soap and because my hands are contaminated. So I tend to. One thing that I made for the week is um, I fried up some spam, and people are, it seems to be popular, at least my way. And I don't know if it's because I saw a couple of videos on it and now I'm getting everything. The Hawaiian food masubi, I think that's the way it's spelt or is pronounced. Anyway, I'm getting a lot of things for that. And because my problems in my hands and arms, I'm usually not able to, or I don't want to invest the dexterity to that folding of the nori. And if you don't know what musubi is, it's basically spam, rice, and nori, which is seaweed. And the spam usually has some kind of soy sauce, brown sugar thing on it. And you have your rice and your slice of spam, and then you wrap it in this nori. Sorry, I made you shake there. And that's tasty as it is. What I do is I do the next level, right? So I'm not actually, I can't say it's the next level. It probably is a level down. But I do deconstructed masubi bowls, but I also have frozen veg in there, and I have sesame seeds and whatever. So I end up making a few meals like that. To my chagrin, I didn't have soy sauce. And I usually have a ton of soy sauce around. So it was interesting to me that I've run out and I didn't clock that I was running out. So I just fried up the spam. That's all I did. Because I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know what else goes with spam because spam is such a I think it's such a strong flavor itself, so I have a hard time figuring out what else goes with it. Definitely educate me on this. I don't know it beyond kind of a hash with eggs and these musubi bowls. So I know very little. So let me know. Let me know the best way to make spam. I want to be a spam master. The other thing I would say about this lentil loaf is that it's on the drier side. Even though I had a vegan recipe that I ended up skipping the vegan part and adding eggs as a binder. But I find that it needs a little bit more fat. I don't know exactly where that would come from, if I should have added a little bit more oil. I just feel that it's a little bit dry. Anyway, back to what I was saying about being a vegetarian. I'm not. I had steak twice last week because my iron levels and my protein levels are always low. And that was one way that I could ensure that my levels were higher. I don't usually have steak. I found a couple that were on a good price at the store, and I decided to splurge. I mean, if I went for a steak dinner, that would have been ridiculous in costs. So, in comparison to that, this was dirt cheap. Yeah. But I can't say that they were anything fancy. I had salt and pepper and butter in a pan, and I made them up. I like my steak blue rare. A lot of people don't. A lot of people like theirs a little bit more done than mine, but I did the very bare minimum when it came to cooking those steaks and making them tasty. What kind of foods do you like to make during the week while you're at work so you don't have to think about things? I don't know if you can see this. Whenever I try to take a bite, things are falling back into my bowl because things aren't staying together. So I'm having a fun time with that, but I don't know if you can see that. Not gonna lie, I am very hungry. And that's okay. I've done lots of running around. This is my first time being able to sit down for a meal today. So, what I found at the store, so I'm in Canada, and we have a grocery chain off of Loblaws called No Frills. And I don't know if they were always part of Loblaws or if they were acquired. I don't know that. But what I found, speaking of not wanting to cook meat because of the um, of handling raw meat, and then what I found was breaded, cooked, chicken patties, and they said they're fully cooked and they just have to be heated up. And I got excited, so I bought a pack, and now I'm thinking about things I can do with them. I mean, it was a big bag. I'm trying to think in pounds what it would be. It was 1.5 kilos. So I guess that would be like 3 pounds, 3 and a bit pounds. I don't know. 3.5. You can let me know. So what I think I'm gonna do, I don't usually have bread here, but what I think I'll do is I'll either make flatbread or to save my arms, I might buy tortillas and then make wraps, have these chicken things in the wrap, buy myself a coleslaw mix or something, put that there, and a little bit of ranch dressing or something like that. I'm thinking that might be the way to go next week or something like that. I also have looked into making meatballs from them, but because they're already cooked, I'm wondering about the binding aspect. Because raw chicken has that ability to clump, and cooked chicken doesn't. So then I start thinking about if that's going to be an issue. Yeah, I haven't tried this, so maybe the first few meals I would just have like in the wrap that I was telling you about, or maybe just have some patties with veg and rice or something, and just have that as that, just to see how they taste, what kind of spices are there, because you know that there's going to be something. They already have a thought. Usually things aren't pre-cooked without having a whole bunch of thought and whatever go into them about like the end taste. This is where raw food kind of shines, unless it's marinated, of course. But it's usually a blank slate and you can do whatever you want with it. Whereas this is already breaded and cooked. So I'm not quite sure what I'm in for. So maybe that's the best thing, is to have things on the plainer side and go from there. Because I know the Greek meatballs um, have a very strong flavor because they have the lemon, the dill, the oregano, or I might need to get another helping and a spoon. I don't think I'll get another helping, but check back with you in a second. I'm going to get a spoon. All right, here I go. Let's see the little crumbs try to hide now. I feel so much better. Like just being able to sit and recover a little bit from cooking feels really good. I feel like there's a lot that needs to happen today. How do you do it? You know, I see everybody running around and doing their thing and living their life, and I'm like, not comparing to them, but I also feel now things are getting better, but I feel that I always have to like tread water a little bit. I'm always having to like be on unstable ground because you can start doing an activity, or at least I can. And because my body, it can take a lot longer or a lot more effort, or, you know, incidentals can just pop up, and I feel like my energy can definitely wane quicker than I would hope that it would. And I don't know if everybody's just really great at masking that. I don't know if everybody is having a similar experience and they're just doing their best and trying to make it go. I would assume that it's a little bit of that, as people are just doing their best. I will say that I have enjoyed not having movies and YouTube on as much, not crocheting and knitting as much. Although there are definitely times where I want to. And if it's kind of like, well, yeah, you can go and relax and zone out and do your hobby a little bit. But I find that there's a lot more to the day that I'm able to do things in, but my energy does not necessarily agree. So it's interesting. It's definitely something with moving goalposts where what success is can differ, differ, differ. hour to hour, really, minute to minute. So, yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to accomplish today. That's okay. I have to be okay with that. That I know it's not a failing. And productivity is kind of a falsehood that we've trained ourselves to believe. And even if I don't accomplish everything that I set out for, or even half, or I know that I should be proud of what I was able to achieve. And the same goes for you, right? So if you're only able, I say this a lot, open the drapes and open the windows. If that's all that you're able to do, if all that you're able to do is get out of bed today, that's great. Don't, and I know I just did a little bit, don't compare yourself. And I am working on that. As you can see, I kind of compared myself to the other people I see in the world when I don't know. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know what their life is like. It's unfair to them and to me to do this comparison. I'm not, I'm definitely not perfect by any means, but that is something that I'm working on. I am really bad with comparing past people to new people, old jobs to new jobs. And it is definitely true that if you spend your time comparing, that you can not enjoy, or it stops the enjoyment of what you're experiencing or what gifts the other thing might be bringing. And I'm definitely at fault with that, especially when it comes to work, especially when it comes to food, especially when it comes to, or I'm not really present in the gifts that are coming my way, regardless to whether they're at the same standard of the other thing, regardless of how they present. Now, don't get me wrong. It's good if you have examples of something healthy so that when something unhealthy comes your way, you can compare and say, wait a minute, I know how it feels to be in this healthy situation, and I want no part of this unhealthy situation. I think that's good. That's helpful, right? That is a survival thing. But these things aren't. These things are just me comparing and kind of judging and being critical. So maybe I should move my perspective to be more action based versus judgment based. Because if I'm going to sit and complain and constantly compare, should I instead be saying to myself, okay, so now that you've established that, what do you want to do? Do you want to move on? Do you want to not eat this thing? Do you want to, like, I don't know if that's the process that I should be suggesting I do next. Are you a comparing person? Do you find that you get stuck with comparisons and judgments and whatnot? And I definitely want to work on that. I can't wait for I'm going to be very fortunate in a few months. In a few months, I'll be able to go into therapy. And everybody needs therapy. That's not a thing that anybody should be ashamed of. But I'm so excited because I haven't been to therapy for some time and there's a lot to unpack. I've moved from one end of the country to the middle of the country. You know, I made lots of decisions there. So there's a lot of reasons and there's a lot of other things that I want to kind of unpack and I kind of want to figure out about myself. I'm excited about that. So I definitely encourage you to be curious. And if you're able to utilize that resource, and unfortunately, it's a resource that a lot of people can't access, but if you're able to, or if you're able to reach out to somebody in that field, or I encourage you to have that curiosity about yourself, that curiosity about growth and whatever. A good a good resource, and I'm happy that she does this. So also on YouTube, Mickey Adkins. So MickeyAtkins, I believe it is. She posts in her description places that are available in the US. I think it's all the US. Not sure. Um, that are available for that kind of service. She's a therapist, and I think all these other resources are for therapy as well. And they're an alternative to problematic sources that are often advertised. I'll just put it like that. So, yeah, if you're able to, I would check that out and I would check her out. I actually really enjoy her stuff. Sometimes we go over Love is Blind and we talk about, you know, the different things that are happening in that show and how she interprets those things, etc., etc. And those streams are long, I'm not going to lie to you. But I find them very helpful. I find it awesome to have in the background while I'm crafting. I find her very relatable. I I don't really have any criticisms there. So if you want, I would go over and show her some love and see what resources that she has in her description that maybe you can utilize, maybe are helpful for you. Anyway, so 3 cheers to therapy. And I know I have to get on with my day here. So I'm really happy that we got to sit and have this time together. I hope you're doing well. I look forward to us being able to sit and chill. And I hope whatever you're doing today works out really well for you. And I look forward to talking to you later.